Hi, my name's Hattie and I'm doing this video because I have a disorder called Trichotillomania, which essentially means that I pull out my hair. I started an Instagram account called My Trich Journey about 3 months ago because I wanted to make myself more accountable for my actions, connect with other people with the same condition, sort of document my journey to show people what I've been going through and hopefully help others in the process. As a child, I was an avid nail biter. My mum decided that she'd pay me £1 for every nail that I stopped biting to get me to stop. At 8 years old, this seemed like a great challenge and I absolutely nailed it. So I stopped biting my nails and I fortunately started pulling out my hair. So nail biting, hair pulling, skin picking all come into this family called body focused repetitive disorders. And I essentially think I swapped one habit for another. Now, as I'm an adult, I think there's a lot more to it, but I generally think as a child, it was just innocently swapping one habit for another. I had the most amazing childhood and I don't think any trauma happened which sort of started off my trich. A lot of people do go through traumatic offence or something hard and that's why they start pulling out their hair, but I didn't. It was just an innocent habit that's now manifested into something a lot bigger as an adult. Trichotillomania, also known as trich, is a disorder that affects about 1 to 2% of the population. It usually affects women, but obviously men can also have trich, and people tend to start at the ages of sort of 8 to 12 years old. Again, you can start at any age, but the people I've talked to and research has shown that that's kind of the age that people start and obviously then carry it on into adulthood. You might be thinking, well, why can't you stop pulling out your hair? And that's a great question because I think about it all the time. I split trich into two parts. There's the part where I pull my hair out when I'm not aware, so I'll be watching TV, reading a book, chilling out, sort of, and I kind of just lose focus and I'm just sort of either focusing on the TV or the book and I don't realise that actually what I'm doing is pulling out my hair until I sort of click back into reality and I'm surrounded by hair. And that sucks because I have zero control over that. I do not realise what I'm doing unless someone in my family, my boyfriend and my friends are like, Hattie, stop. Like, you're trying to pull out your hair, what are you doing? The other part is where I am aware, and this is almost harder because it ends up being this battle between two halves. So what I do is I'll be looking for a hair and it's probably thicker, coarser, curlier. It feels different. It feels like it shouldn't belong there and I want to pull it out. And when I find it, I've got this battle. I've got this one side that's like, oh, I'll just pull it out, it's only one hair, it won't affect anything. Then I've got sort of my more rational side that's like, no, don't do it, you can't do this. It's not just one hair, you'll keep going on. But unfortunately, this side always wins. And that's so frustrating. And I think that's the problem. People don't understand that you can't just stop. It's this really, really strong urge that encourages you to pull out your hair. I think also what's worth knowing about trich is that I would say it's like a security blanket for me. I think I've done it for so long. It helps calm me down. So if I'm sad, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, nervous, any feeling like that, pulling out my hair makes me feel better because when you pull it out, you release an endorphin in your brain, which makes you feel happy and nice inside for about a second, and then you have to keep doing it to get that feeling. But it is essentially this security. So I pull my hair out from the top of my head. You've got trich if you pull out any hair on your body, but people tend to focus on their eyebrows, their eyelashes, or their hair. So let me show you. As you can see here, I pull out a huge area of my head. It kind of goes right from the front all the way to my crown around here. It's probably about this wide. I wear a hairpiece to cover it up. What's really hard about trichotillomania is there's no universal solution for everyone. It's a condition that affects people in so many different ways and people start it for so many different reasons that what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. So I think that's the most frustrating thing, and people feel really ashamed for having trich. People don't like talking about it, people aren't honest and open about it, and people don't like going to see a doctor because they feel like they won't be able to help. But that's not true. I think talking about it to people is so important. The reason I have finally started to stop pulling up my hair is because, firstly, I'm making myself more accountable. Now, it might sound weird to say this, and I think a lot of people with trich are going to be like, what are you on about? But I don't actually think I ever tried that hard. I've been so lucky. I grew up with a really supportive family, a great bunch of friends, and I have the most amazing boyfriend. I have this great support network all around me and everyone is always there for me. We talk about it, we're very open about it, and it's fantastic. I also went through primary school, high school, university and now obviously working life with Trich, I've got a big bald patch on my head, you've just seen it. And kids can be cruel, but all the kids that I met, went to school with, were lovely. I've literally never had someone say a mean thing to me about it. And I think because I've had such a great experience of having it, it's not stopped me from doing anything in my life. It's not stopped me from doing anything I want. It doesn't stop me at all. And I think that's why I've been a bit lazy, because I've got on with my life. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do. I have a love of water sports, and I won't let this huge, massive bald patch stop me from doing anything I want. So I turned 26 last year, and towards the end of the year I was like, okay, right, I need to stop and do something soon, because the more you pull your hair out, the less likely it is to grow back. You only get a certain amount of follicles on your head, and eventually they're going to stop coming. So I worn hair extensions for 10 years. I had a top knot on the top of my head, so what I did is pull it all around so that you couldn't see my bald patch. And then last year I started to realise it was getting a bit thin and I should take out my hair extensions. I think taking out my hair extensions confronted me with the fact that I did have this bald patch. I couldn't hide it anymore because all I was left with was not very much hair at all. It's kind of hidden under here, you can't really see it. And I think that kind of gave me the reality check that I needed, the kick up the backside, and I created my Instagram account. And I thought I'd share my journey, which would then make me more accountable, and it's actually really worked for me. I've also started CBT, which I would 100% recommend. It's kind of what people consider one of the best ways to try and control your trichotillomania. So I've kind of done these two things, and it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, so please don't think that this is a solution, but it's worked for me. I've made myself more accountable. I've created this Instagram account. I share my journey, I share pictures of my hair, and I talk to people about how I'm feeling. And it doesn't mean that you need to go and do that, and I don't think you need to go and show your bald patch to the world or anything like that, but do talk to people, even if it's just friends or family. Don't hide it from close people, because they're there to support you. And the second thing is I've started CBT, and that teaches you how to control it, how to be more aware of when you're going to pull, which then helps you know sort of the situations that you put yourself in that means that you're going to pull out your hair. But don't get me wrong, I think there is stigma and shame attached to a condition that literally makes you pull out your hair, and as open and honest as I am and can easily talk about it, I do get really defensive when someone catches me pulling out my hair. I think it's a really vulnerable and raw moment for someone to catch you in, and that is hard, but I don't want people to think it's a weird or strange or odd condition, because it's not. You know, it's a medical condition, and a lot of people do have it. 1-2% of the population is large, and I think the more people talk about it, the more people share, then the widespread knowledge will get around it, and people will start to understand a bit more about it. I'm hoping that by sharing my journey with people, people will feel more comfortable in talking about it, and people will realise that this is a condition, you're not alone, there's a lot of us that do it, and if you sort of reach out and ask for support, you can get it.